Hi, good morning. This is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden. There is this point in many of our lives when trauma is over with, but we think about it all the time. Sometimes we call up friends and we replay and go over the events over and over again. And this is considered ruminating. It gets to the point sometimes where the ruminating consumes you. It's in your mind all the time. And then when you finally process it, it's a real challenge getting to that point of comprehension. And I want to talk on what the subconscious mind is doing, what that is, because that's it really. Anytime we are given information, anytime something happens to us, and this could be in several forms. This could be us behaving a certain way. This could be somebody else doing something to us, or this could be something that we are told. And either way, in all circumstances, the subconscious mind is required to process it. The processing is the process of taking information and converting it over into your perspective. That's all it's trying to do. X happened. Now let's put this into my perspective. But when you have something that happens that doesn't feel good, that contradicts your own identity and ethics, that doesn't make sense, we get stuck in processing. And that's what happens to all of us when we're stuck in trauma and we're not healing. That's what happens with every single one of us, is we're not able to process it. And when we do get to the point where we've accepted it, there is disbelief. And the reason why there's the disbelief is because it is contradicting our core belief. So we might have multiple beliefs inside of us, and the action that's been done to us, or the action and behavior that we do, contradicts our own beliefs and ethics and identity. And we struggle trying to define what we did or what somebody else did or what somebody else said, because there is a contradiction between two beliefs: what was done and what we believe. An example of this is you believe your mother loves you. And those definitions, my mother loves me, looks a certain way. But if your mother is a narcissist and she manipulates you, if your mother is a narcissist and she uses you or abuses you, that contradicts the belief, my mother loves me. So what ends up happening is your processing stalls out, because how do you process this? How do you get over the contradiction? Where does this contradiction belong? And what happens is an event occurs for you to put that into your cognitive core, but you've got this belief that your mother loves you, and now you can't complete processing. So now 20 years could go by and you still don't understand what's going on. 30 years, 50 years could go by and you are still trying to figure it out. And the reason why you can't is because you have two contradicting beliefs. Here's where it goes wrong. It's the my mother loves me and this is what love looks like. That's the problem. That is the problem. When we have a belief like that, and then we are hurt by the people who love us or who we think love us, there's the contradiction. So it's because we have contradicting beliefs. People call these misleading beliefs, and that's actually a misnomer, because you can have toxic beliefs, you can have misleading beliefs, you can have very real beliefs that just contradict each other. And what you're really up against is formal argument. Your subconscious mind requires information, but your logic center, your formal argument has kicked in. And because there is a contradiction, it cannot form a proper premise. It cannot form a proper conclusion. So it stalls out and you just hang out in limbo. So every time you endure a trauma, whether it's something you did, something someone else did to you, or something that was said to you, that trauma basically stalls out and stops the processing. And that processing is not going to continue until you resolve the reality, the truth, the action, the words, and the limiting belief. They cannot coexist at the same time. So to do this, you'll need formal argument and debate, or a one-on-one consultation and a coach. And the goal is to identify which belief is contradicting what actually took place and how you need to adjust the belief so that you can receive the data so it will process to a proper full conclusion. When that happens, it stabilizes your perspective and confusion goes away. Now you can move on. The thing is being able to recognize when you have this stall out in your processing. So I'm going to go ahead and go over a few exercises with you. This is true of veterans. This is true of sibling abuse, bullying, name calling, sexual trauma, all of it. All of it falls under this category. Now, the biggest conflict in all of this really comes down to our definition of love. There are 5 parts to our cognitive core and its processing. And the first part is our identity, how we define love. And then we have our ethics. Our ethics are 100% what we value, and it's based off of what we love. But an abuser can tamper with these definitions. That's the problem. An abuser tampers with these definitions. Narcissists tamper with the definition of love. They change the definition, which corrupts your ethics, which completely takes away what you define as ethics. Now they can do things to you, or they can say things to you, or your behavior will do things that you don't understand because of these beliefs that come in. And it contradicts your ethics. For a veteran, for a soldier, they have their identity, what they love, they have their ethics, and then they are trained to do things. Training is the manipulation of the subconscious mind to access the fear and violence system, which is embedded in all of us, except it's dormant. And the government knows how to wake it up and use it for people. So that's what happens to veterans. But veterans are people, and people have love and ethics. So when these happen to us, it contradicts our love and our ethics. And now we have to live with that. When we are traumatized and we grow up in a severely abusive situation, we will do things during that survival mode. It is exactly the same thing. It is us accessing a very ancient, archaic part of our subconscious mind so we survive. It's just survival. The problem is it is so machinated. It is so much a part of a robot that there is no logic. There is no justification for it. But it's not who we are. The subconscious mind is separate from us. We are our love, our identity. We are our ethics. We are not the subconscious mind and its survival mechanism. And that's where the conflict happens, is people take the subconscious mind and take full responsibility for the subconscious mind. And that's the problem. We are not responsible for our subconscious mind. We are not responsible for our subconscious minds. We are responsible for disciplining them once we understand how. We are responsible for doing the best we can to navigate this system. But most of us know, none of us know about this system. This is an abstract system I invented to get out of my own trauma. That's what this system is. It's what I put together and piecemeal together just to navigate out of my own subconscious mind. So this isn't information available. I'm giving it to you because people need this information. So your subconscious mind is a machine. It's a robot that immediately will activate in survival situations. In veteran situations, the government purposely turns it on. But it contradicts our ethics and our identity. And when that happens, what ends up resulting is you have contradiction, you have cognitive dissonance. You have subconscious behaviors doing A, and you have your ethics and your identity saying that's not ethical, that's not okay. And now you have to live with that guilt. And because you can't process, why did I do that? You get stuck in processing. The answer is you did that because your subconscious mind put you into survival mode. It's that simple. It is simple. And it wasn't your fault. We are given abnormal, insane situations to deal with, and we do our best with those situations. So the other situation is when we're bullied and we hear things, when we hear news. It can be something simple and very subtle. It could be hearing about something that just doesn't fit us right. And so it nags at us because it doesn't make sense. The whole purpose of the processing is to make sense of insanity. That's what we're doing. Insanity happens and we're trying to make sense of it. But there is a basic thing we have forgotten. It's insanity. It's not supposed to make sense. And sometimes the best thing you can do is go, that's just insanity. That's the subconscious mind. As far as redefining love, and when you have an abuser who takes and tampers with your definition of love, you have to restore your definition of love. That's what my master classes focus on, is restoring your definition of love and making sure that whatever narcissistic definition was placed in there. Usually it's love equals being needed or love equals needing people. That's usually the tampered definition of love. So then you have people growing up thinking that love equals being needed. And that's not true, because being needed is actually being used. And that completely distorts the definition of love. And that's not what love is. So once you identify that ill definition, you can restore it with your proper definition, which is love is caring about other people. And when that happens, it solidifies your identity, it solidifies your ethics. Then you can go through and you can process everything properly because you have the solid foundation. Likewise, when abuse happens, it's a simple categorizing it of, was this me? No, it was not you. I am a pacifist. I have my ethics A, B, C in a row, but I didn't always have these ethics in a row. I did things that I had to figure out how to live with. And at the end of the day, I am not responsible for my subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will turn on and then do shit in horrible situations just to keep you alive. And I did things that contradicted my ethics in a life or death situation. So it's a massive step back of, okay. And here's the thing. If you are asking the question, am I a monster? You're not a monster. If you are asking the question, if you're a monster, that means your ethics are right where they should be. Because it's the monsters who don't ask those questions. So if you are taking time out to ask the question, am I a monster? The answer is no, you're not a monster. You had a subconscious mind that did what it needed to do in a horrible situation. And you did the best you could do. This is self-forgiveness. This is absolute self-forgiveness. Was it horrible? Fuck yes, absolutely. Do you need to get over it in your own time when you're ready? But trying to push through trauma without understanding that you're processing it is the problem. You must understand that you are seeking processing. You must comprehend it. And so we'll go over all the details of every little tedious thing that was ever done to us. We will tear it apart. That's actually re-traumatization. What we are seeking is the explanation. What happened to me? What was the real big picture? The real big picture is there's a lot of abusive people out there. There's a lot of broken people. And everyone processes their abuse in behavioral distortions. And when you have a behavioral defense, it causes you to do things. And unfortunately, in many cases, that means that people become targets. People become victims. So why does a person become a victim? Maybe that's the question we should be asking. Why does a person have to become a victim? Mostly it's because you're in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time. You're convenient. That's why. That is why. The person who abused you felt threatened by you because you're somebody, because you are somebody. An abuser always targets their greatest threat. So you were abused in most cases because you are special, because you did threaten them by just being you. Most likely because they saw something in you that they wished they could have. Jealousy, mostly jealousy. Mostly it's, well, if I can't have it, then why should you? And it, by the way, is your authenticity. That's what it is. We all live in a society where we're not allowed to have our identities. We're not allowed to be authentic. But several of us are. And when we're authentic, there are abusers who see that and they get upset because we're all supposed to be the same. And when they realize we're not the same, they get upset because, well, I can't be different. Why do you get to be different? And they will target you. So they target you because they see something different in you that they were taught is dangerous. So it's their attempt at keeping safe, keeping control. And abuse materializes in all of the different ways that they're abusive, that they seek to keep control. That's what they're doing. That is what they are seeking out to do. And for a lot of people, that means controlling, violence, aggression, fear. That's why you were abused, because you threatened them. Not a you threatened them, it's a they felt threatened by you. So they abused you. That's it. It was unfortunate. It sucked because you were dealing with a mentally ill person, because you were dealing with someone with behavioral defenses. At the end of the day, that's all it is. Everyone who abuses you is dealing with behavioral defenses. Everyone has behavioral defenses. And people's behavioral defenses causes you to have behavioral defenses. We are all just looking for the big picture here. That's all we are all trying to do is understand. But we're all in the middle of a forest lost staring at the tree trunks, not understanding that we're looking at tree trunks. And once you span out and scope out and you look at the big picture, you realize, oh, everyone has behavioral defenses. The primary message is no one is allowed to be authentic. Everyone has to be the same. And when somebody steps up who is different, the abusers don't like that because they associate being different with danger. So they attack. They try to control. And depending upon their behavioral defenses depends on how they control. Some people use sex to control. Some people use violence to control. Some people use emotional terrorism to control. Those are really your only three options: sex, violence, and emotional terrorism. Which ones happen to you? Does it matter? It may matter to you, but really big picture, because the big picture is the way out. The big picture is the way out. They had a behavioral defense. They sought one of the three methods to try and control, to try and keep themselves safe. They felt threatened by you, and you just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's it. So you were targeted. And it's people who were supposed to love you, people who were supposed to take care of you. And they didn't, because they have behavioral defenses. That's it. There you go. Yeah, our mothers failed to take care of us. The system failed to protect us. And as a result, we ended up with behavioral defenses. And the best we can do is accept and process. They had a behavioral defense. They used one of the three methods to try and soothe themselves via control, sex, or sexual control, violence, or emotional terrorism, or all three. And that's it. That's it. Process it. Process that that was done to you. Now, to prevent it from happening again, communication and your defense system. Very much your defense system. I have masterclasses that I offer to people. I also offer one-on-one coaching. I've been back and forth on the one-on-one coaching for a while now, and I've decided to go ahead and open it up. So if you are looking for one-on-one coaching, my rates are $200 an hour. Go ahead and DM me. You can message me or go to my website, www.annashealinggarden.org. And if you take a look at Talk to Anna, you can go ahead and book a call with me. The link is available down below also, where you can just click on that and I'll be able to jump right in with a call with you. You pick a time and we'll be able to discuss that. I do have packages available so that if you're wanting to just grab a collection of sessions, and then you'll be able to just on call whenever, just let me know and I'll be able to jump on a call with you. I handle every kind of behavioral defense you can imagine, everyone, especially PTSD, war veterans, and my favorite, narcissistic abuse syndrome, borderline personality disorder. I handle trying to figure out if there's something I don't handle. I handle it all. So if there is something in particular that you are looking to process and work through, go ahead and message me. For more shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my newsletter. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.